mind, change your life, and you will change the world. The Bahamas, like most countries in the world, is undergoing a serious social fragmentation. This is manifested by burgeoning murder and violent crime rates, the disintegration of the family and the community, manifested by widespread anger, a lack of courtesy, as well as widespread youth unemployment. As a result, we have the formation of youth gangs, violent youth gangs, which are wreaking havoc on all aspects of our community, creating an atmosphere of hopelessness and even fear. Can this be reversed? In 2008, I entered a very marginalized community and tried to start a resocialization program. Starting with 10 people, within 1 year, the program increased to 40 plus persons. The question was, how could one keep a therapeutic perspective with such a large group of people? These persons came from being the relatives of murder victims. Some were victims of violent crime, domestic violence, and abuse of all types. I found a few factors very helpful in keeping the therapeutic perspective. The first one was to realize that only God's love can heal a broken heart and destroyed life. The love which will never let you go, and the face which never turns away. I came to also realize that broken, hurt people do not want our sympathy or what we can do for them, but they want us to stand with them in their pain as they share their heart in a contemplative atmosphere of love, silence, and non-judgment. But sharing our pain is very difficult. No one shares their pain unless they feel loved. Shirley was very broken when she came to the family. She was incensed mostly to her adult life by her father, and threatened if she ever told the family secret, he would kill her. She married a young man who also brutally abused her, verbally and then also physically. He tried to kill her with a knife and then a gun. Discouraged and depressed, Shirley also became violent and eventually attempted to commit suicide. When she arrived at the family, she was silent for about 2 months, not saying a word. I could see the tears just streaming down her face as people shared their hurt. And then the time came for Shirley to share her pain. I used a process called centering, where I invite the person to come to the center of the group, supported by a therapist. I also invite others who want to share in the pain to come and be with the person. And then I encourage the person to let the pain go, to release it. And in Shirley's case, after a few minutes, the pain exploded with a massive catharsis. And she screamed and screamed and screamed for almost 5 minutes. It was as if the pain and hurt and abuse of a lifetime was being expelled. People ran from the group to hold her, to pray with her, to encourage her, but mostly to love her. And then there was silence. It's amazing how silence can absorb the pain in her heart, which words cannot express. Shirley's been in the family for now 4 years. She is a changed person. In fact, she's a healer, and has helped so many persons work through their abuse. Shirley opened herself to the love in the group. As a result, she changed her mind. She changed her life, and she changed the world. I've been struck with poverty and social deprivation in our country. John left home at age 13 to roam the streets of Nassau, sleeping in abandoned buildings and on the beach. He was brutalized physically and also sexually. And then he was shot in his face and shot in the side. In the hospital, he said, "Dr. Allen, I felt hopeless. I was like a dead dog." But to his surprise, 2 days later, the same guy who shot him was also shot and was brought in and lay 2 beds from him. He said, I wanted to kill him. And then John's group came to the hospital and said, tell us where this guy is who shot you. We want to kill him. But John said, I prayed to God, and I don't know if he did. I said, I don't want to make this man die. But maybe if I don't give him away so he can get killed, would you do something nice to me? Would you let love come to my life? After hospital, things got even worse. In fact, the streets became more violent. The only place he could sleep safely was in St. Matthew's graveyard. Apparently that's the safest place to be in Nassau these days. He slept in the tombs. And just despaired for his life. But for some reason, somehow, he came to the family. He was shaken. He was ashamed. We asked him his name. He couldn't speak. And then, after a while, with the love of the family, he shared his story. He said, I'm a dead person. I'm already dead. I've tried to kill myself a number of times. I don't fit into the Bahamas. I would go to the mall and watch kids walking with their dad. I never knew my dad. How could he have me and never recognize me? I don't know how to defend myself. I don't know no one to protect me. I have nothing. But you know, he's been in the family for 4 years now. People have come to love John. They gave him clothes. He has his own little business of cleaning cars. And the other day, in the midst of the family, he stopped and he said, I want to say to this family, you're not only my love, you are my life. You were the answer to the prayer I gave to God when I was in hospital, and I didn't give up my killer for my gang to kill him. John's a changed person. He's a healer. He is working with me in starting another family group in a marginalized area. The love allowed him to change his mind, change his life, and he changed his world. Revenge is a major issue in the family. People are there whose relatives were murdered, abused, and they want dark, hateful revenge. Some people want to kill a whole family. A spouse wants to poison her spouse. And I'll never forget the Wednesday, a beautiful young lady, Dawn, rushed into the family screaming, they just killed my brother, I want to kill, I want to kill, I want revenge. And now we're going to go back into poverty. You were just coming out of poverty. I'm going to have to leave school. Is that fair? I want to kill. I have a machete in my car, and after school, I'm going to kill. I'm going to kill. The group sat still. Some crying, some praying. But then I noticed a small, elderly lady get up from the side of the group, a woman of deep faith, and she came right to Dawn. She said, young lady, I know how you feel. You see, 1 year ago, they killed my only son. He was my love. He was my life. In fact, a part of me died. And I wanted revenge. I wanted them killed. But I realized that the revenge was destroying me. And I had to surrender to God because I would be destroyed. I know my son didn't want it. The old lady said to Dawn, I can't tell you what to do, but I would encourage you to let the revenge go. Because as you feed on the poison of unforgiveness, you're going to have 2 murders in your life. The murder of your brother who's dead, and the psychological murder of yourself. She then hugged her, prayed, and they cried together. 3 weeks later, I got a letter from Dawn saying, Dr. Allen, thank you for the family. The family stopped a murder that day. And that lady who prayed for me, when the revenge came on me, I realized I could hear her words, and her love allowed me to let the revenge go. Yes, by opening to the love of her family, particularly that elderly lady, that love helped Dawn to change her mind, change her life, and change the world. After 5 years, I did see the signs of resocialization. People were less angry. They were less revengeful. They were more interested in anger management and conflict resolution. They were involved in less abusive relationships. In fact, one gentleman who was in jail for manslaughter for 18 years, his specialty was just hurting women. He bowed to each woman in the group and said, "I'm so sorry, please forgive me." It was beautiful to see resocialization and give hope for my country. On the basis of that, we applied for a grant to the Templeton World Foundation. And as a result of that, we have a grant to continue our research. What is the dynamic of healing in the family? Well, it's simple. Life is beautiful, but you know life is wounded. And before long, all of us start our hurt trail and experience shame of abandonment, rejection, and humiliation. This shame is a powerful feeling connected to the secrets of our life. It occurs when our greatest dreams shatter. Shame is so painful to the human psyche that the brain, through a series of neural mechanisms, forms a powerful defense against the fear of shame, called the shameful self. That shameful self has 3 negative programs of happiness: self-absorption, all from the baby; self-gratification, get addicted to persons and codependency or drugs; and then get control. But to get control, you have to reconstruct reality to take less personal responsibility. Then you split off the shame and project it onto other people, and shame then leads to blame. You get a false sense of self-righteousness. The shameful self in fear victimizes us because it blocks us from developing our authentic true self in love. How do we then change from the shameful self to our true self in love? You know the story of the Velveteen Rabbit. When the old skin horse tells the rabbit, "You need to get real." Surprised, the little rabbit said, "How do I get real?" The old skin horse, speaking from wisdom, says, "You become real when somebody really loves you." So in the family, yes, the heart and psyche is like a sponge. It's filled with all the hurt and shame of the years. But as that love which will never let us go, and that face that never turns away, comes into our heart, it releases the shame. And the internalization of that love leads to transformation of consciousness. And we release our shameful self and open to our true self in love. A deep appreciation for ourselves, courage to move toward the others, but a deep sense of humility to realize that life is more about listening rather than judgment. And finally, the deepest form of love is we experience gratitude. The highest evolution of human life is to learn to say, "I am grateful." So each person's life is a challenging journey from being a victim of their shameful self based in fear to the discovery of the glorious freedom of their authentic true self based in love and gratitude. How does this happen? By opening to that love which will never let you go. It will change your mind, change your life, and change